Hello, everybody. It is I, You Too Cool, back again, and today I'm going to be taking a look at Lenticular Vern. Vern is a really interesting diecast to me when talking about the history of the Cars diecast line. He was released in 2010, like a lot of other major characters from the first car, or not major, but like characters that had Car Finder or Meet the Cars entries. They're basically the same thing. He was one of them. And Vern just stuck out because he's one of the few characters that we don't see the front of in the movie. In the movie, he is one of the cars driving into the Los Angeles International Speedway at the end of the film. Not the end, like beginning of the third act, I guess. And, that's really cool that they make cars that we don't see the faces of in the movie. So, he came out in 2010. He got a lenticular. A lot of cars got that treatment. But really something interesting happened in 2013 when they brought him back. First off, the series he was in, of all series they could have picked for this car to be included in, was let me see if I got this right. I believe he was released in the Rusty's Racing series, not to be confused with Rusty's Racing Center. There was a series dedicated to the Rusty's tent cars, but just the ones that already existed, and then one new one, which was McQueen with Sign, which is just a variant of McQueen. And then for some reason, Vern was slipped in there. My guess is because the Rusty's tent appears at the end of the movie in the Los Angeles International Speedway. And they really didn't have any other series to put him in, so they just put him in the Rusty's Racing series. And so I'm just like, okay, it's kind of a weird pick, but all right. And then for some reason, they just like made him so much that he peg warmed. There is an entire photo of a wall of just Vern. And then Vern was never seen again. So that makes me think that Vern sold so bad that Mattel was like, okay, we have to pull the plug on this one. We cannot make this guy ever again. Which is really kind of a shame, because Vern is a really cool car. He's a taxi. He's like red. He's not the typical taxi color of, white with, not white, yellow with checkerboard patterns. He's just a really, really cool car. And, I got his lenticular. Why? Well, I like documenting lenticulars because a lot of people don't really do that. And also, I feel like for a person like Vern, someone who's constantly like showing people stuff and constantly, making sure everyone is in the tourist group, because he's specifically like a tour leader guy. He's a tour guide. That's his purpose in the Cars universe. He would be looking around back and forth to be like, okay, everyone good? I also got him because I'm just enamored with, taxis and just, how they exist. They're really interesting. It's just an interesting subculture, I guess. So, yeah, I'm going to take a look at him. All right, let's look at his grill here. He has this really nice grill. I believe his model is shared with a couple other diecast. Axle Accelerator, Donna Pitts, and, Axel was reused into Rescue Squad Trooper, so that's about 3 other cars that share his body type. Sort of long, slanted to the front. It's a very nice looking model. I would make a crew chief out of this. I know a lot of people do that with the Cars 2 taxi, where they're like, that's literally just the chief RPM model, and so it's like, yeah. Here's his first expression. He's looking off to his right, our left. He has the sort of like, all right expression. And then a slightly more concerned expression looking the other way. The fact that he looks so concerned is what really like drove me to be interested in Vern. And I'll show him in a little bit, but Revney also has this concerned expression that, I don't know, just something about the fact that both of the main taxis in the Cars diecast line are like so concerned visually is like really interesting to me. Of course, this is not my first taxi. I have 2 others. Will I get all of them? I think so, because like all I'm missing now is Chauncey and Fair Game, who originally was kind of rare, but Fair Game got re-released like twice within the last 2 years, so it's not as difficult. I do regret not buying him in store. I don't know why I didn't do that. That was silly of me. The person who sold this, I got mine loose, but he's in really good condition. He has a really nice, like, smooth finish. Not as smooth as, say, a Thailand car like Mario Andretti here. Yeah, Mario's, like, really smooth, but Vern is pretty nice as well. I'm impressed with that. His nice silver mirrors. No door handles. Very interesting. Also, his windows aren't separated. Yeah, just a very, like, interestingly shaped and designed vehicle. It's a nice trim around his wheels. Vern's Taxi Co. is a reference to a real-life taxi service in California, I believe. I believe he specifically lives in California. Oh, no, never mind. He lives in Dipstick, and his license plate is AH4RE, so A-Hair. I want to say that's a reference to jackalopes, because Cars 1 was really obsessed with jackalopes, especially Bud Lucky. What a man. No backlights, very interesting. Like, yeah, like, okay, I never realized how uncar-like Vern looks. Like, because before it was like, yeah, this looks like this looks like a car I would see in, like, the 80s, but, like, okay, wait, no, I think I found his taillights. They just blended in with the rest of the mold, sorry. Yeah, there they are. They're, like, kind of turned off to the side, which makes sense, because you want your turn signals to, be on the side, so people can actually see. The only major chippage is the top of the roof here, but that makes sense because it's a very thin piece. Very interested that it is a metal piece. It is part of the metal body and not a separate thing. Also has text on both sides. Really impressive. I like that. He has the one hubcap. That's another, like, this car is so full of personality for someone we don't even see the front of in the movie. Like, that is so funny to me. But yeah, it just has a really cool design. All right, let's see. When was he made? Oh, wow. 18th day of 2010. That is really early on. Congrats, Vern. You're an early boy. I'm going to go quickly get Revney Grant. I actually forgot to get him in this massive display. I wanted to encapsulate both the cars that, Vern is supposed to be. I guess Piston Cup race fans. He was released in the Race Day series, which, in case you didn't know, 2010 did have series. Different cars were labeled with different colored card backs. So, like, if I were to pull out... Oh, shoot. I think I only ever had, like, a couple... Hold on. Mater's glow-in-dark lamp. You see that emblem there? That's Radiator Springs. That's the Radiator Springs series. So, yeah. Vern, I believe, had a purple name tag referring to the race day. I'm going to have to double-check that. But, yeah, I'm going to go get Vern now, and we're going to compare the two. Did you guys know that Vern is supposed to be the sole employee of Vern's Taxi Co.? Something must have changed between 2006 and 2011 because, lo and behold, Vern's has a new employee. And that's really interesting to me. Like, what is the story here? What happened between these cars, like, to cause these two to coexist? Does Vern not exist anymore? Is he unemployed? Did he, like, pass the torch? Is this guy just an intern or something? Like, what's going on here? As you can see, the color scheme completely shifted from red to white. Vern's Taxi Co. changed the logo to blue. They have an actual number now. Let's see here. I forget, Revney doesn't have a license plate, right? No, he does. It is California. Yeah, so he lives in California as well. They both live in California. So, like, what happened between, Cars 1 and Cars 2? What's ironic is that Revney is also mostly seen from the back in Cars 2. I think we do get one glimpse of him from the front during the end sequence of the movie when Mater's telling his tall tale. Wink, wink. Ah, shoot, I forgot to bring my other taxi. Although I'm not sure if I would compare Vern to Bob Pulley because Bob Pulley is like a very different kind of taxi, so I feel like it'd be weird. Nah, you know what? Why not? Here's all of my taxis all together. I love that these two are both looking like, oh no. And then this guy's just like so chill. I'm taking a picture of this. I'm taking a picture of this. This is amazing. uh um okay, so yeah, Vern is very different from Bob Pulley. Bob Pulley, I don't know why they molded in the paint for Bob Pulley, but like I kind of dig that. Maybe it's so that they know where to paint the stripes because quality control stinks. But yeah, I wonder if Vern will ever see the light of day again. I would like so because I like that he's like a race fan technically, but not like a race fan. Race fan. I wonder if he was like driving someone to the LA Speedway. Like, let's say, for example, Swift Alternator was like, hey, can you take me to the Los Angeles International Speedway? And he's like, sure thing, just follow behind me. Don't get lost. Do not press go. You know, something kind of like this, like a convoy or something. So yeah, that's all I have to say about Vern. I ranted 11 minutes about Vern the taxi from Cars 1. Not to be confused with some turtle or something. I don't know. I think that was another movie out in 2006 with a character named Vern. Anyways, that's all I have for today. Hope you all enjoyed the review, and I shall see you all around. Bye-bye!